Marriage is messy. It's not clean cut and polished. Fake love and pretentious relationships are polished and glossy on the outside, but they lack the substance and the stamina to withstand the vicissitudes of life. A relationship will always be defined by the struggles it has surmounted, and those struggles that the relationship has surmounted help to increase the value and the meaningfulness of that marital relationship. Because, beloved, problems in our lives help to define our commitment to our personal success. And so difficulties, disagreements, and challenges in your marital relationships define your commitment to make your marriage work, and becomes the foundational stones on which you build your legacy of love upon. Marriage is a commitment to create a legacy of a stable environment for your family. It's an institution bigger than yourselves, your feelings, or your wishes. Marriage transcends individuality by empowering the purpose of your individuality. Your individuality is not to be lost within the framework of marriage, but your individuality becomes a servant of the marriage to minister to the success of the marital institution, the institution of family. Happily ever after, beloved, is a reality that you build brick by brick only through consideration, commitment, and sacrifice. It's not to be expected to happen independently of its own accord. Successful marriages are the result of the natural energy of deliberate intention to make it work. Therefore, marriage is messy, and it is messy because we have to deal with our own natures that are intrinsically broken because of sin, and we have to deal with another's nature, and we have to deal with an imperfect world, so it gets messy. It is not always clean cut and polished. Marriage is real, and it requires real work from real people to make it really happen. Marriage has ancestral value, intrinsic value, generational value, and eternal value. Ancestral value because it continues the legacy that was created in stable homes by our ancestors. Intrinsic value because marriage requires commitment, because nothing in this world that is of value does not come without a commitment to progress. Therefore, marriage requires your commitment to being committed, that you may lay solid plans or build a brighter future. Commitment is what runs the world of relationships. Commitment is what runs the world of business. And without commitment, you cannot have a successful business. Therefore, people seek to ascertain contracts. And marriage has generational value because it creates an example and a legacy for children to build upon, for family to build upon. It has eternal value because your marriage, your family structure, your home unit creates an environment that incubates and inculcates the principles of the Word of God. Therefore, it has eternal value. The effect of your family union, the effect of your home culture can determine your eternal reality. Therefore, marriage is also anti-selfish. The union of the institution will never prosper in the presence of selfishness. Selfishness is inimical to the success of the marital relationship. And here's the challenge, beloved, because selfishness is intrinsic in our nature, and therefore a successful marriage means a daily determination to battle, to subdue, and to conquer the negative aspects of your nature. Individual selfishness, which is thinking primarily of yourself, or collective selfishness, which is thinking only of your family, limits the possibility and the potential of marriage and its positive effect upon society and the world at large. Therefore then, beloved, marriage has the potential to create a new individual, reconstructed or metamorphosed into a pragmatic understanding of love, balance, and consideration for humanity. Marriage is difficult, beloved. It's difficult because it is worth it. And because it is worth it, it will get challenging and messy at times. And the challenge of marriage is to turn the ideal of marriage into the reality of your marital experience, beloved. So first, understand and grasp what the ideal of marriage is, and conceptualize your present reality of marriage within the framework of its original ideal, and then set to work in shaping and forming your current marriage reality daily into the ideal of what it is really supposed to be. So you must set that goal for your marriage to meet the ideal of what God originally intended it to be and what He intends your marriage to be. So it's a lifelong challenge. It's a daily undertaking, and self must die daily. Self must die daily. Self, beloved, must die daily. Personal selfishness must be crucified. So surrender yourself to the duty of creating your own heaven on earth in your marital relationship. Let's repeat that. Surrender yourself. Surrender yourself to the duty of creating your own heaven on earth in your marital relationship. Stop wishing for someone else to make your marriage a heavenly experience, when you should be taking the duty upon yourself to make it your heavenly experience. So many people complain about their spouse's faults when they are not without blame in bringing negative things in the relationship. So many people see their spouse's failures and shortcomings when they themselves are not guiltless, beloved. So before you make a decision to exit a relationship that you are calling hell, have you done your all, your utmost to make it heaven? It's messy. Have you been and done your most, your best to make your relationship heaven? Have you failed categorically at making your relationship heaven? Or are you exiting the relationship on the basis of a frivolous excuse that someone is flawed in a particular area? Come on, beloved, forget the false narrative that Disney World, Disneyland, and Hollywood have tried to teach us that happily ever after is automatic. You have to build your happily ever after. You have to fight for your kingdom. Fight for your marriage, beloved. Marriage is messy. You have to fight for your marriage. So put on the armor of God and fight for your family. Fight for your home, fight for your spouse, fight for your name, fight for your family line and your family's place in history and in time. Do not give up up on your marriage, beloved, because every time someone gives up on their marriage for a frivolous, nonsensical reason, it lessens the value of marriage in the eyes of society and creates a legacy of losing, a legacy of giving up, a legacy of non-committal relationships. So fight for your marriage, fight for your kingdom, and you must fight with consideration, fight with cooperation, and fight with commitment for your marriage. Fight with those 3 C's, because this is what makes marriage work. Fight with consideration of another. Fight knowing that you must be considerate of your spouse, knowing that you need the cooperation of your spouse, and knowing that you must be continually committed to the commitment of being committed to your relationship. In Romans chapter 12 verse 9 to 10 it reads, let love be without dissimulation. In other words, don't let your love be hypocritical. Don't be loving people outside of your marriage unconditionally, and you refuse to love your spouse unconditionally simply because they have faults and flaws, or they hurt you and did you wrong. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another. Today, beloved, honor your spouse. Prefer them above yourself. This is how you have consideration, cooperation, and you nurture your commitment to happiness. This is the word of life with Andre Knight.